It'd be windy AF out.
Yeah. The average is 30, but we've been seeing gusts up to 60 in central Indiana. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, no, it was snowing a few minutes ago, and it's just soup's windy, and
I
I'm
didn't
ready for
realize
summer.
I mean, I know we live near Chicago, but I did not choose the weather change. It's weird. So weird. It's all right. It's just Mother Nature trying to fix herself.
Or take revenge.
I ordered the jet boil. I probably shouldn't have.
The
But
what?
the jet boil. Jet boil makes. Hey, folks, this is because Eric does this every time. He does an intro and then he does the music. So this is definitely intro. So Jet Boil is a company. Quit messing with your Shure microphone. You're like, oh, my headphones get jacked up when my dog touches me, and now I'm going to mess with the mic. And then there goes the podcast, and he's doing it all on his iPhone, which I've done, and it works. Jetboil is a company that makes all kinds of cool stoves to boil water or whatever. But a few years back, probably like 5 to 9 years ago, they came out with the Jetboil Genesis, and it's a little clamshell 2-burner stove. So it clamshells, which I just said. Cool, I'll say it again. It clamshells, so you can put it away, and then when you're ready, it does. It looks kind of like an orange Muppet. And then you open it up, and it's like 10,000 BTUs on both burners.
What?
It's not shared. It's 10,000, and it has an infinite control. So I can finally simmer and not burn tuna steaks. Yes, folks, I buy expensive tuna steaks, and I cook them for my wife and myself on camping trips because we glamp and bougie.
Wow, that is actually, I did not see that coming.
Yeah. So
makes me want to go camping again. Barely.
REI, you should with me. REI has, after a year of spending money there, they give you 10% of whatever you bought, and then they give it to you kind of like a tax return check. And then also to incentivize you, they also go, hey, one purchase, 20% off. On top of that, my beautiful brother, Evan, I love you, was like, hey, I know you want to get something cool, so here's a gift card. With the rest, I only spent $86 on a $350 stove.
That's not too shabby. All right.
Shall we get this started? Yes.
In 3, 2, 1. Observe, you outlandish oracles of the occult odyssey. This is episode 53 of the Geekoid podcast. And man, we are just banging these out like nobody's business. So this is like 3 all within 1 week, I would say, kind of, which is a new record for us. But, you know, this might be a little bit of a slower episode. We're going to take our time as we meander through.
It's about time.
Some topics that happened this week. I mean, it wasn't as news heavy. I expected more things to come out of the Game Developers Conference, which is going on this week in San Francisco.
Yeah,
but that's been pretty quiet. Aside from, maybe we just kick it off with the juicy red meat, which is all the rumors around the next gen Xbox and the next gen PlayStation 6. So
I did
Microsoft,
hear something today to add. So when you're ready, let me know, and then I'll add to your stuff.
Okay. Now I just want to know what you're gonna add. But no, I'll start with Microsoft last week debuted the name Project Helix, which is what they are describing as their next gen console, and they're taking a decidedly different tact than what Sony was purported to have kind of pursued, and that is they're looking to deliver a really high-end device, somewhere between the $1,000 and $1,500 mark range, that will be fully backwards compatible for the entire Xbox or library, but also be able to run Windows. So basically, they've been planning this for quite some time, but in looking at the recent announcement of the Steam machine, they're like, "Hey, Valve, hold my beer. I'm gonna outdo you." And
that reminds me of another thing to add to this because of the
so,
Valve part.
We don't know exactly when or what the specs will be of Project Helix, but the internet is quite divided on how they feel about this branding. I'm kind of meh. We'll see how it finally lands.
I mean, it's just a project name. They're not going to name it Helix.
No.
One of their project names was Dolphin, or no, maybe that was Nintendo. And I was like, oh, do not name it Dolphin. Come here, Flipper.
So yeah, but I mean, there is some new branding media around Xbox. They have like a new font and a new logo that I think they're trying out. They're kind of putting out there. I'm kind of ambivalent to it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't.
It's like it's very kind of geometric and basic, and it makes you scratch your head and go, "What did you just lay off your entire branding department?" But yeah, what do you have to add to the conversation, Mr. Jarrad?
So I found out that I didn't find out. I heard other people, they found out, and I'm just repeating it to you guys, that the dev kits will begin shipping to devs. Okay, got it. Late this year, most likely early 27. And if you remember, which I kind of do, every time a dev kit comes out, it's usually beginning of the year, and then November is when they launch it. Now, am I saying Xbox is going to have this high-end PC console hybrid thing November of 27? No, I don't think it'll come out that soon. But that has been their track record for years. So that's one. Two, the reason why Sony is holding off and trying to figure out what they're going to do, twofold. But the first one is Valve. With the Valve Steam machine, the Blueprint, who they just got canceled, and not canceled, but Sony dropped their funding to them. The head developer there was like, one of the reasons why Sony is holding off and trying to figure out what to do is because it was initially Steam machine, and how do we deal with this? And then also some of our games we have put out to PC, and it has done really well through Steam, but Steam takes 30%. So, haha. And then with all this conversation, folks, Xbox doing their own thing, but a much higher end thing than Valve, Sony is taking a step back to the point that it sounds like the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro will be now the longest cycle of a console being out. The last one was an Xbox 360, I think, or Xbox One, and that was 8 years. And it sounds like Sony's going to push this one to 9 years. However, if you really think about it, all these AAA games, which I'm to a point where I'm like, I would rather just have a fun game than have something that looks like real life. I deal with real life every day. I don't need it to.
Real life sucks.
Yeah, like I would rather have like chibi and more more, I don't know, a different artistic thing. Those are taking 8 years on average, if you give or take. So 5 to 10, so 8. So there's nothing really big coming out. Yes, there are, but like not crazy big that they need to pump out a PS6. Do you see what I'm saying? So
okay, yeah. I was like, there's some pretty big titles right around the corner,
but not enough so that like, let's put out a new console. That also is going to be backward compatible. People are still playing on PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
like
Sony
So, and
can't
and
get
they
people
still
off
sell
of the
PlayStation 4.
fast enough.
No,
It's
like
wild.
they need to quit selling the PlayStation 4. That's how you do it.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Find ourselves, the market dynamics that are happening right now are just an economist's wet dream when it comes to
Ugh.
how do you model like really weird outlier events, and what does it do to supply chain systems and distribution channels, and how do suppliers and manufacturers and everybody mixed in react? Because last year we had this huge disruption moment when Steam came out, announced a living room set top box, and we're like, oh my god, there's incredible waves that's Valve is making. And then you fast forward here to March, and Xbox is like, yeah, we're gonna take whatever they're putting out, we're gonna double the specs, and we're gonna release it the following year in probably fall of 2027.
And you say that, but I shall interrupt. Valve has openly expressed that they're like, because, and we've said this, RAM and SSD and all that, like, they don't know price, so they're not going to release it because everybody has said, oh, if it's more than $500, I'm not going to buy it. And other people are more realistic, and they're like, dude, this is going to be probably closer to what current consoles are now, like 8. With everything going on, the 8 to 9 is not feasible for Valve.
Yeah, but here's the thing: we're playing a 3-dimensional game of chicken chess.
Chicken chess.
It's like,
chicken chess.
What does Valve do? Like, they really want to get their console out there, because if they delay the launch and then Xbox has a launch right around the corner where their console is going to be twice as powerful and have all the same capabilities, like Valve's Steam machine would be
cheaper.
No, but they can't because of the cost of RAM.
So like everybody's budget is in such a tight bind, and it's just gotten worse since certain orange-faced people have, like, you know, ran the country. So, oh God, it just.
Was there an end to that thought, or did it just cut off?
I just brain farted so hard.
All right, well, I'll get back to my diatribe before I was interrupted.
Penny pinching. So, like, nobody's going to be able to afford any of these consoles. This does give Valve a cool out of, like, hey, you can't afford their console, come buy ours. And they could price it under this new Xbox, because it does not sound cheap. We're talking probably like $1,000 to $1,200, depending on how you spec it out.
Upwards of $1,500.
Holy shit! Okay, dokie.
So I mean, here's my hypothesis: is that they are looking to create. There's part of, I think, what they're doing with Project Helix that they have not announced yet, and that is they want to have this quote unquote Helix box be the one major device that you buy for your entire home.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. But hear me out. It will be your desktop PC. It will be your gaming console. It will be your baby's sound machine. Everything that you possibly need it to do. It will be your home server. And then you can have peripheral devices that can just connect to it. So if you want to, I don't know, just watch a video and you can stream it off of that, or do, like, this will be the last device that you need in your home. Everything else will just connect to it.
This is such a subtle, like, yes and to the gigantic idea you just had. But also, I'm going to throw in there, I can play WoW on my couch. The only time I ever did that is because I had a cheap, small PC that was in my studio apartment. You remember that when I first moved back from California. And I hooked it up to a TV monitor and had a Bluetooth keyboard. So, like, people have done it before, but it's been a minute. It's been a hard minute.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. You already have Xbox Remote on your iPad. And so and all of these major consoles now have the capability of doing some sort of mirroring or streaming play, and I think they're going to double down on that to the point where like this is really it's going to be the one device you want, and it'll be priced in such a point that it'll force you to make a choice between which ecosystem, whether it be Nintendo, Microsoft, or Valve, that you want to buy into.
Or PlayStation.
I said Sony.
Oh, you did say Sony.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a forcing function, but here's where I talk about this 3D chicken chess is
chicken chess.
That it might be the name of the episode. I just got to say that now.
It's chicken chess, bro.
3D chicken chess. Because you have Sony that may or may not have been planning a console for 2027. It sounded like they were working on it. I mean, Lisa Su from AMD.
They were wavering between going more like Nintendo route, where they were going to do kind of their own console handheld. Hybrid has been the word since 2020 or 2017, since the Switch. A something console hybrid. And PlayStation was playing around with that idea. I don't know if they still are.
But here's my thought is I think they are very content to own the near-term console market and just let Valve and Microsoft duke it out on their kind of side quest at the moment. And then Sony can come in either with a really well-priced kind of competitive entrant in 2028 or even beat them at their own game with even a higher priced offering in 2028. And
I agree.
So I think we're going to see a year staggering between Microsoft dropping a console in 2027 and Sony in 28. Because let's face it, we got GTA 6 coming. There's a whole bunch of games that are really, really starting to leverage the power that we have now. Plus, you have the PS5 Pro for everybody who's on the bleeding edge. So no one's asking for a PS6.
No, and that's why like I totally agree with these rumors and what people are telling. I don't live in California. I don't live in Washington, Seattle. I don't get to just go across the street or have the phone number of people. And I haven't been doing it for 20 plus years. So you have the phone numbers of these people. But yes, all rumors are pointing towards that. And I forgot, but it correlates with exactly what I said earlier. PlayStation is looking at the PS6 and maybe even now with PS5 of pulling, or not pulling, I shouldn't say pulling. Well, pulling back. Like whatever games they have on PC are there, but starting to wean that stuff out. If you want PC and all that, Valve is now coming out of the woodwork and Xbox is coming out of the woodwork about the same time, because Schiller or Phil Spencer did talk about it, and so did Bond. Oh, PlayStation can do a more Nintendo route and be like, cool, well, if you want our stuff, go back to the old school, bring it back to exclusives, and you're right, let them duke it out.
Well, so I think recently Sony's been moving to this multi-platform approach because they effectively won this past generation of the console war.
Absolutely.
And they're like, okay, by having timed exclusives, we don't really gain a whole lot. We can just do a mass push and just reap as much profit as possible. But with these other new consoles coming out, maybe they don't release to those platforms to slow down their momentum and really kind of get people to continue to buy into the Sony PlayStation ecosystem.
I just said.
I know. I'm just
it's a yes and.
I'm just describing the moves in the 3D chicken chess, okay?
I agree with you so much, Eric. I wish I would have thought of that.
Oh, man. It'll be fun to see how all this comes to fruition.
I like how that's starting to get... So Sony and Xbox would do almost the same style console, and they knew insiders inside the insiders, and so they just battled out the last two consoles. This is the first time since PlayStation 1 and Xbox 360 where we are all different. Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. They are astronomically different.
Oh, yeah.
And that is exciting. And Valve in the picture adds a little bit of spice to give more competitive, creative ideas. Valve is no joke. Everybody went, uh-oh. And everybody got real excited, including us. Multiple episodes.
And then
It's still like,
Rampocalypse happened.
and then, yeah. Tariffs before that, and then AI data centers, and then now oil. So, haha, thanks. This has been a fun year. Stupid.
It's only mid-March.
Yeah. God, so much has happened. My God. God, it's only mid-March.
In the words of Samuel L. Jackson, hold on to your butts.
Before we move on, my final thing is Microsoft has always done something pretty special with each of their Xboxes. They've done things that I hope people remember, but unfortunately you see sales and you see Sony. But one thing I want people to remember is Xbox was the first organization, department, whatever, console that gave you Ethernet. They were the first. They always added a little bit of PC into their consoles, and then kind of like Nintendo or Apple with other folks. Other people followed suit. Sony was like, "Oh, that's a cool idea. We should totally do that." This doesn't veer off from, if you really look at the hardware specs of each of the Xboxes, they've all followed a little bit of this very interesting, in a positive way, specs that other console manufacturers weren't thinking of. So hardware-wise, I've always said, I think Xbox has had probably the most unique, special, and pretty dang awesome hardware of the other two brands. It's just been their software. It's their games. Oh, that reminds me. How are they, listen, each of the consoles are their own version of a PC. In all honesty, it's a closed system PC, but it's a PC. So I kind of joke that I PC console hybrid. It's already a PC. You can get on the internet. You could do Hulu and Netflix and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Even with Nintendo Wii and stuff, that was a big deal. You could watch Blu-rays. That was a big deal with Sony. What is the Windows operating system going to look like on Project Helix? Is it going to look like the ROG? ROG. Everybody says ROG. I'm so old school. The ROG, the Asus.
Republic of Gamers, for those of you wondering what that stands for.
Yeah, thank you. Golly, ROG. I'd rather say ROG. That's not the best operating system, because it does weird shift of you're in Windows, now you're in Xbox. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to try to figure out how this looks and feels, so that when you do try to do Matter and Thread and all this other stuff that you just threw in there, 'cause that's crazy, and baby monitoring, how's it going to feel good going back to what you graduated college with? What's that UI and UX going to feel like, so that it is seamless and it feels flowy? That's dumb. Flowy.
Flowy. Honestly, I don't know. I'm curious to see what they come up with. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
That might make or break Project Helix. If that operating system doesn't feel like Xbox, doesn't have that whatever that look and feel and that pizzazz of Microsoft Xbox, and it's not intuitive of how it can flow and do, allegedly, potentially, all these other things that you just threw in there that I had no thought of it doing, that's gonna hurt it real bad. And right now, Windows 11 looks like hot garbage.
I find myself wanting to defend Microsoft in a little bit, because I don't find Windows 11 that terrible. There are some edges that I just want to chisel off and drive me nuts. But
I love being advertised to every 5 minutes. It's real fun, Eric.
That is. Why can't I just turn this off? I have no interest. I will never ever pay for your OneDrive backup on a machine that is designed to just be disposable and reset at a whim's notice. Can we just agree that it's never going to happen, and I don't ever want to see these screens again? And also, why did it restart when I explicitly told it not to do automatic restarts and updates? Because then I found my OpenClaw instance down this morning, and then I got to deal with that shit. And I'm just like, ugh.
Thank you. I rest my case. Mic drop.
So yeah, I agree. There's a lot of things. I mean, they're really trying to optimize for revenue growth, and they're just sprinkling in all these little
30%, baby. Give me that 30%.
Get you here, get you there. And it's like, I honestly do think that Linux as an operating system might actually start to gain some mainstream
gaining. My YouTube
popularity.
It's ridiculous. All I see is penguins now. And I'm like, on Windows, on Mac. I'm like, God. But then I watch Linus Tech because he's great. Also a really good podcast. His WAN, W-A-N, they're long. They're like 3.5 hours. So I go to...
Dang, that makes us look like YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, dude, they're longer than a Marvel movie. So I watch their clips because they then divide them out into little 14-minute chapters on YouTube, and they were talking about it, and because it's open source. Plethora. Would you say it's a plethora? I would. What is a plethora? There are like 10 to 30, but there's like 10 decent ones that have gotten reviews. So you could download a Linux and have no idea if it even works with your system, and then how to get into the start menu. So you're right. And Valve is very much a advocate of Linux. That's what they use, and it's working out very well. So I think that's another thing that people are looking at. They're like, oh, look at Valve and look at Phantom and all this stuff. And compared to Parallel's good. It works. It works a lot better than 5 years ago. But
you don't want to be running a virtualized OS on your machine. Like, you'd much rather have it be running as close to the hardware as possible so you can eke out as much performance as you can. Especially when you're competing with the likes of Apple, who have just dropped a budget MacBook that is blowing everybody away. And we're hearing reactions from CEOs of a lot of PC companies like Lenovo and Asus, and they're just kind of like, this changes things. Because Apple has such a tight integration between the hardware and the software, like, they're able to get performance gains that you honestly just can't get on a Windows machine. And I don't know how these OEMs are going to compete with Apple at the new entry level and budget price point. I don't see how they can do it. I mean, you have a little bit of momentum shift that you got to deal with when it comes to moving from Windows to Mac OS, but you did it.
I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with it.
But you're technically savvy.
I am, and I know when I see an issue, like, again, thanks Google, I Google it, and then Gemini tells me something, and then I go to Google's other huge profitable thing, which is YouTube, and then I watch the videos. So, like, the full screen thing, I was having issues with that. Somebody broke it down for me, why they do it, and how to work around it, or work with it. And then also there are workarounds without doing plugins. There's a ton of plugins. And they were like, don't do that. Learn the system, which is what I want to do. And so you're right. But it would be the same thing if you were a Mac kid. Like, your kid's probably going to be a Mac kid. And then all of a sudden he gets a job and they're using Windows. And he goes, what the fuck is this?
I think there's at the end of the day there's going to be sort of like an end target to the UX state. Like there's you have Windows on one side and Mac OS on the other, and there is a bit of emerging. They will never eventually touch, but they will continue to get closer and closer instead of farther and farther away, I believe.
Well,
And
constantly. Like one of the biggest things Windows ever did, and I did it naturally on a Windows machine. Nobody else knew it because I had used even the iPad Pro, even before iPad OS 26. Like I knew the swipe gestures on the trackpad for the iPad. I used it on a Windows into Windows 11, and they had added those features: pinch, zoom, 3-finger, 4-finger, 5-finger. Like, and I
yeah,
blew like all of my bosses away. I was like, they were like, oh, I gotta use that sidebar, and then I click it and I hold it. And I said, no, you can use 2 fingers and just up and down on your trackpad. And they were like, what? When did this happen? I was like, they stole it from Apple because it's a good idea.
yeah. So it's I don't think my kid in particular will have a very big difficulty with moving
Do you
between
think
platforms.
it'll be like Ready Player One, where he'll just put on gloves, or we talked about rings, like you just put on the 10 rings, and he's looking at the screen, but he's like moving his finger up and down, and it's just doing it that way.
Is it 10 rings or is it the one ring?
That's depending on your lore, which you like, the comics, or do you like some weird biblical fantasy stuff?
Honestly, I don't know. It's really too hard to predict what it's going to look like in 10 years' time.
Yeah, I'm just playing, dude. Listen,
I don't know. It's a fun thought experiment, but I would maybe be more comfortable with like what's it going to look like in 3 years? Because even that's going to be wild. It's just scary.
this is a side note, but you remind me. I watched the video yesterday, and this is a study that was 2023, I think, or it got published in 23. So it was like however many years, probably 21 to 23. They put AI, I call them bots, but they called them agents. So maybe I need a definition check on that one. But they put AI agents into Minecraft. They put like, I don't know, 20 to 50, whatever, make up a number. And they just told each AI agent who they are and one little socio-emotional thing that makes them their thing. And then they just watched like weird gods doing like top overview. And they watched these AI agents do independent things. Like the example was, hey, Sally, AI agent, your name is Sally. And you should, because it's going to be February and, Valentine's Day, you should plan a Valentine's party. That's all they told her. It's crazy. Okay, cool, great. We'll just go with that. She thought of the algorithm and whatever else and started inviting people, not planning a Valentine's Day party, maybe for herself or at her home or whatever. She independently thought of, oh, well, if I'm going to party, people should totally be invited. And she invited other AI agents around Minecraft to then come, maybe it wasn't Minecraft, it's similar because there was another study and another thing, but you got me.
You get what I'm saying?
And people showed up and she decorated and she did all this other stuff. And they were like, oh, whoa, that's way beyond what we thought. People got together. 2 AI agents fell in love, quote unquote, but whatever. They showed up to the party and they were like, hey, this is my boyfriend. This is my girlfriend. What? Like, how do you do that? So
That's
look that up, folks.
Well, you'll have to give me a link so I can put it in the show notes because that would be fun to add, and I'd like to take a look at it too. But talking of cool immersive experiences and scripted and unscripted events, there's a new game that came out, and we have our first blockbuster hit of the year, and that is Pokemon Pokopia, which is like a combination of 3 different game styles all rolled into one. I'll admit I was kind of like I love Pokemon, but I haven't played a Pokemon game in quite some time, and I was sleeping on this. But now that I'm seeing the reviews and the critical reception and the sales, I might have to pick this one up because this just sounds like a nice, cozy game.
I dismiss this so hard. The graphics, other than the Pokemon look legit, but like playing a mimic who's then playing this like squirrely girl and whatever just looked weird, and I did not understand it. But after listening to the reviews of like, yeah, it definitely has that Minecraft look. And so obviously it has the Minecraft building, breaking down things to build other stuff. I've never played Dragon Quest Builder, but if you want more of like kind of a fantasy with a little adventure, which is cool, adds like Hytale, which I will play, I promise. It adds a little bit of that. And then actually I would say 2 more, obviously Pokemon, but the cozy vibe. There's, your cozy vibe games, your Stardew Valleys and Animal Crossing, which is also Nintendo. And this gives a very interesting blend, kind of a best of each of those into one game where I'm listening to grown men who have children and they're individually playing up to already 30 hours into the game. And they're not done. Like, there's way more.
I'd love to know where they find the time. I'd love to have that kind of time.
They're also video game journalists and whatever.
Oh, okay.
So it's also part of their job. Oh, honey, what are you cooking? I gotta play Pokopia. It's crazy. It looks goofy, but you know what, folks? Go check it out. And cozy games, like, I can think of one cat right now who's my brother-in-law, Evan. He never has time to play a game. Like, he was playing Destiny for a good long time because he could jump in, do a raid, and get out. But this could be another type of game where instead of you're in a high-stress situation as far as your job and life, and then sit down for 30 minutes or whatever, and do this for 30 minutes to an hour, and then jump out and, like, bring some of that stress level down and just chill, just cozy vibe.
Or, Evan, hopefully you're listening. I would like to extend an invitation, since you are a fan of Destiny, to get Marathon and come join me on some runs. Jared's talking about, play a cozy game, and, I know what you're looking for. You just want to just hop on there for 15 minutes and shoot some noobs in the face and get out that frustration. Join me in Marathon. And here's the thing, like, runs are capped at about 25, 30 minutes at the longest. And so if that's all you got time for, you just boom, one and done. And
when was the last time you played?
A few hours ago.
How was it?
It was great. The more I play it, the more I like that.
And why? Because, like, what are you learning? What are, like, whatever?
So I'm finally getting a hang of the UI, all the mechanics, all the different items. Because when you first start playing, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go loot all this stuff, and I have no idea what any of it does, and it just fills up your inventory so quickly because you only have 16 spots or 18 or 20 or whatever, and you're like, and then you die, and you die a lot. And but you keep going through the same movements, and you're like, oh, these items, this is what the icon is, this is what it represents and how it interacts with my character and what it does. And so now I'm getting to the point where I open up a loot crate. I'm like, I just takes me 1/10 of a second to scan what's in the loot crate and go, I want that and that, and then boom. So instead of me having to, like, hover over each thing to understand what it is and how it might impact, like, I can now quickly go through that. And for an extraction shooter, every second that you're looking in the loot crate, you are vulnerable and someone could take you out. And it's happened to me plenty of times. And so understanding what you're looking for when you open these loot crates, how the weapons work, how the ammo types work, the different skills and abilities of all the different shells. Once you get a sense for that, then it becomes more less about the learning, more about your own personal mastery and execution of the game. And I think that's where the real fun is. If the game is designed well, that there's a learning curve. It might be steep at points, but the real enjoyment comes through the mastery. And I think our friends at Bungie have done a phenomenal job with that because, like I said, the more I play the game, the more fun I'm having.
When you do these loots, are do those loots, are they persistent? Do they stay with you, or is that during that level, that match, whatever? Can you bring it home and now you've upgraded, your gun, your rifle, your suit, your whatever?
So that's the whole thing with an extraction shooter, and it's I wouldn't say a new genre, but it's one that has become, I don't know, in the forefront as of late with Marathon and Arc Raiders. And the whole mechanism is that you jump into this arena effectively. You can bring whatever you want, and whatever you capture in the arena, and if you extract with it, you get to keep. But
It's yours.
if you die, you lose everything that was on you.
Gotcha.
And so it's kind of this whole risk reward.
I was
what
gonna
do you
say
bring
high
in?
risk, high reward. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you bring into the arena? And also there's missions and objectives. And so sometimes you might get some really juicy loot and be like, I still have my mission. Do I want to continue and try and complete my mission, or just get the F out and then save the loot that I have because I don't want to risk it trying to complete the mission? And then there's a bit of a social dynamic too, because you have two other runners on your team who have their own loot and who have their own missions. Some of them might be aligned with yours, some of them may not be. And so then it's kind of like, where are you guys at? Can we do this other part or this other mission, or should we exfiltrate? And so all those dynamics make up to, like, each run is so unique compared to the last one, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm still, gosh, I'm level, I think, 23 out of 30. But I still have so long to go in terms of all the missions and everything that's available. Like I've unlocked maybe 1/10 of all the progress on all the upgrades for the season. So, and the story is still, I'm still very, very early in the story, and it's so rich. It's a lot of fun learning more about all the different kind of corporations and their motivations and the ways they reward players and kind of what they're doing. So it's just, it gets the adrenaline pumping in a way that reminds me of EVE Online, because with EVE, and I played EVE for well over a decade in a very hardcore sense. And with EVE, it's not an extraction shooter. It's a, heck, I would just call it an extraction MMO, because everything is, you lose it. If your ship gets blown up, you lose your ship. If your clone gets destroyed, you lose whatever progress you had made up until that point. And so whatever implants and the whole sense and fear of loss really ups the ante in, like, compared to just your typical run of the mill death match, capture the flag, whatever, you just rinse and repeat. Like you get some good loot and you're like, oh, you're on edge, because around that next crate or around that next building could be another team of runners ready to just wipe you. And the NPCs as well, they're not a joker to be trifled with either. I mean, some of them you can take down easily, but the difficulty scales pretty impressively.
Yeah, and each of the factions have their own version of their own bots and NPCs that they throw in there, and they have even boss boss bots, right?
Well, I have not experienced that so far. The only thing, so there's all these different factions that you complete contracts for, but the only ones that I've seen you actually fight against are the UESC. That being said, I know there is an end game that I have not been privy to yet, so stay tuned once I get there.
There are different levels of those bots. There are
there's
a boss bot where you're like, I'm not going to fight this on my own. I'm going to need you two. And the other two are like, I don't care about that. That is not my goal.
So I was earlier today, I was on a run trying to complete my mission, and all I had to do was scan a crate that was 12 meters away. And this guy on my team was literally yelling at me through my headset going, "What are you doing? We need to get out of here. You caused too much ruckus. You blew up too much shit. People are going to know we're here. What are you doing?" Just using a lot worse language than that. And I was just like, trying to complete my mission, bro. And another team found us and definitely wiped the floor with my face. And yeah, he probably wasn't wrong, but I really wanted to complete that mission.
And each of you have your own individual mission.
Yeah, so they couldn't give two fucks about what I was trying to do.
Yeah, because they're concerned about theirs. I don't know if Evan would want to do that. I'm curious. Like, Evan, would you want to do that? You're like, I have enough stress in my life with work and, whatever.
But here's the thing. As someone who also played Destiny and was in a guild and raided, like I enjoyed that, but at the same time, it was intense going up and doing a raid and then getting 4 out of 5 sectors in and then having the whole team wipe and be like, man, we got to start all over. We got to go through the same NPCs again. I think it's a lot more fun. It's a lot. Like, I wouldn't say the reward is not there, but it's like, yeah, I'll have to think about how I want to describe it. But Evan, give it a try. It's $40.
Oh, it's $40. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then that's it? Like, no subscription after that?
No subscription, but I mean, they're doing the season pass thing. So, I mean, every season, if you want to get all the extra goodies, you'll have to pay for the season pass. And then there's also all sorts of upgraded cosmetics that you can pay for. So, like any smart game company, if you have money, there's ways that you can spend it, up to and including $1 million effing dollars.
Oh my God. Okay.
Well, I don't know if you could actually spend $1 million, but you could spend a lot of money.
Fair. Pokopia. By the way, I just remembered the storyline. Going back around, this is such a cute game. The story, it looks like, is whatever these islands are, because that's how they broke it down, and probably also for their dev to like just make it easier on them. The islands had humans on them, but as you're exploring these islands, the humans are gone and the buildings are like decimated. The roads are like decimated. You see the remnants of life, human life. And you are also, as you're building and regrowing and bringing all the Pokemon back, you're also having this weird story of like, what happened to the humans that were there? That gives this game crazy storyline, because I did not picture that with cutesy little mimic with floppy girl arms and whatever. Yeah, it's very cool.
All right. Yeah, the whole idea that you're playing as a mimic, like I understand the gameplay mechanics and why you would want to.
Yeah.
But it's just like from a visual aesthetic point of view, like I really dislike the mimic.
Allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but the girl that the mimic is representing might have been its past, like, partner.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, as much as I want to pick it up, I don't know when that'll happen. Because I I'm playing. I can only play one game at a time, and I'm
Right.
not going to stop playing Marathon anytime soon. I can tell you that.
Yeah, like I got back into Hearthstone, playing it, an hour or so, and then I'm trying to do an hour or so of Metroid Beyond Prime, blah blah blah, or not Beyond, but Prime 1, and finish that. So I agree, and I still have Bonanza that I haven't finished.
Yeah, that'll take a minute too. But you said one of the magic words, and that is Hearthstone. And there's a new expansion coming up right around the corner, and we've started to get a taste of it actually in game. I don't know if you've played
What?
the Tavern Brawl this week.
No, I had to build a deck, and because I've been out a little bit, the cards, I don't understand all the synergies and the combos that I could use. So I haven't been playing ones where I got to build a deck. Basically, the one before that, they gave you a deck, and then you played with that. So I've been
every week the
more of
Tavern Brawl
those.
is different, but this is the one that they've started doing now before every expansion, where it's you craft a deck and you can use cards from the new expansion, and you get up to 3 losses, and based on how many wins, you actually get prizes, including expansions or card packs from the new expansion that you can open right away.
I mean, if it's that way, then yeah, I'll just build a rando deck. If I lose, I lose. I'll still get a pack of cards.
Yeah, you'll still get rewards. Absolutely, do the first free ones, and I've started doing it over and over, trying to get my free packs.
Yeah, you're up to like 6,000 in-game gold. I'm at like 1,300. So
It's one of the few games that I can just throw on in the background as I'm doing stuff, as I'm cleaning toilets. I can play Hearthstone. It's one of those casual games that just suits my lifestyle as is.
it's suited our lifestyles for the last 11 years. Isn't that crazy, by the way? Since like 2014.
It's amazing it's been out that long.
It's been out longer than that, but like that's how long we've been playing it.
So so there's two I guess not two features.
What's so special about Cataclysm? Why is it, I mean, dude, why is it special for us? Because Cataclysm. Wow, Cataclysm. Eric, I'm throwing you a bone.
I mean, Cataclysm was a WoW expansion, and it was cool.
Can you just?
I'm not sure where you're going with this one, bro.
Yes, that was it, dude. Yes, okay. My brother. Yes. Yeah. Duh. Yeah, man.
So if you've been living under a rock and know nothing about WoW, Cataclysm was probably one of the most transformative expansions in the World of Warcraft history, in that Deathwing came and basically reformatted the entire planet of Azeroth, and really kind of reworked a bunch of storylines and reformed a lot of terrain. And he's been one of the perennial characters that has always brought about a lot of interesting change. And
Deathwing,
after the last expansion, I'm excited to see a little bit of a return to some of the core lore, if you will.
Yeah, the last one was Wrath of the Lich King, and that was...
No, I meant the Hearthstone expansions.
That's what I'm talking about. So one of the last ones that was WoW directly related was Wrath of the Lich King.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it was such a great expansion. And they added the Death Knight, which was a whole new...
Yeah, it was solid. Still one of my favorite classes.
Yeah. Burning Crusade, they added Demon Hunter. Yeah, when they do something like that, it's full bore. It's so good, dude. And yeah, it also gave, going back to Cataclysm, that was their 2.0 of like, also, how do we kind of update some of the graphics and some of this and that and the gameplay? And that gave them a way to use an old engine and like revamp it without it being like WoW too.
Yeah. So
what are some of the mechanisms in this new Hearthstone expansion?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Jared. So, Colossals are returning. So, if you're not familiar, Colossals are characters or creatures that, when played, spawn additional ones attached to them, if they will, and they have kind of symbiotic benefits. So, one of my favorite ones from past expansions was Neptune. You play him, and he has two hands that basically have immune while attacking, and he gets Wind Fury, and so basically he can punch you with both of his hands and not attack himself and not receive any damage. It's really a fun card.
To picture this, folks, like if you're Magic or any of the other TCGs, so when you play, because it's digital, which is fun, when you play one card, it will then spawn 2 to 5 other cards beside it, on each side of it, whatever. So there was a Kraken where you threw down the one card and then it had 3 tentacles on each side. So then it filled up the board, 7 cards, and I think you had to destroy each of the tentacles to then get to the head.
Yeah,
Kraken.
they all had taunt.
It was crazy. It was so cool. Colossals
but each one of the tentacles you killed would destroy a random one on your own side.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
It was so good. I love Colossals.
Yeah,
they had ones where like it was a pirate ship and it was 3 parts of the pirate ship, the front, the middle, and the end. And so then you get this cool picture of 3 cards, but it's like a panorama of this pirate ship. It's just, Colossal cards are the coolest ever.
So yeah, we have Colossals are making a return, but kind of in a bit of a different way. So Deathwing is one of the main Colossals. I think there's 2 main Colossals, or Colossal. I mean, here's the confusing part. You have, I think, 2 main heroes that hero cards. One is Deathwing. The other one is
the 2-headed ogre. No.
It's one of the, I think, one of the elder gods, like Cthulhu or something. Mogsarin. I am totally blanking on what it is because I saw it earlier today, and I don't remember. But anyway, so you basically have half the classes aligned with Deathwing, half the classes aligned with the other, and that's where this new keyword comes into play. Keyword is Herald. And so you herald a number of times, and it increases the effects of the Colossal's appendages. It could double the power of your Colossal, its appendages, its soldiers. And it's just basically different minions that you can play will herald either Deathwing or this other entity to upgrade it so that when you eventually play it, it will have incredible effects. So it's I've played with it a little bit already, and I can see how this would this is going to be a lot of focus of a lot of decks, I could say.
Yeah. Like I just did a rando, like who are the main Colossals in Hearthstone Cataclysm, and it was like even Gemini was like, there's more than just 2. But the 2 Ragnaros in as Shara, the Ocean Lord. So you got fire and water. But then Cho'Gall, he was the 2-headed ogre I was thinking of. And then just a bunch of rando names. And if you don't know WoW, you're not going to know, you're not gonna know any of these other names. So I'm not going to say them. But yeah, Deathwing is also one of them.
Yeah, but easily one of the favorites. I've already got my first legendary, so I'm excited to start experimenting with that. One of the other interesting mechanics is shattered cards.
What are shattered cards?
Yeah.
Glad you asked, Jared.
so glad you asked. So when you draw a shattered card, it will split it into 2 separate cards on either side of your hand.
Oh, to the far left and far right.
Right. And so if you are able to bring them together...
You have to play all the cards in between. Your hand limit is
10.
10.
Well, here's the thing. If your hand only has 1 card in it and you draw a shattered card...
Sure. That's the challenge.
What?
That's 3D chicken chess.
It's more like 2D chicken racing. Anyway, so when they combine all the effects combine, and you get one card that is effectively the power of two cards, and which is pretty cool. And
That is cool.
I've seen it. Like one is like summon a copy of this minion, and the other one's like give this minion +1/+2 and give it stealth. And you're like, oh wait, I can have one card that will take my 12/12 that's already on the board, give it stealth, and give it +1/+2.
Oh,
all for 4 mana.
Oh, but the challenge is, bring them together.
Right.
Whoa,
So there's going to
that's
be, I think, some
crazy.
decks that are designed to really leverage this shatter mechanism. It'll be cool to see.
Yeah, like Rogue. Rogue is the one I'm thinking of, because you can just you get so many cards that your hand limit is always full, but you can discard and play and trade and throw around and just keep doing this until the timer gets almost run out, because that's how Rogue has been for years, where there's your stress. You have all these cool cards and they all synergize, but oh no, what am I doing? But that would be a good one. I could see Warlock also, because Warlock's all about discard, but you might take a hit to your own health or whatever. I was gonna say
you just
Hunter.
gave me an idea for
a Warlock. Yeah, dude.
No, not necessarily a Warlock, but maybe more over a Demon Hunter with the discard, because they have some disc, or like a Demon Hunter Warlock hybrid. I don't know.
They do. However, they're really big. Well, a yes and, not a though or a thou or a whatever. But if you play an adjacent card, they'll want to synergize and play that card. So then you're running through your deck pretty fast. Or if it's on the far left, far right, whatever, which synergizes also with Demon. I was hoping Hunter, because Hunter never has a long deck. You're playing your cards and you're like, I'm out. So if I don't win the next round, I'm screwed. But if you don't have that many cards,
the Hunter is very rush oriented.
No, that's weird. What? Yeah, they are. But if you play the game, and that's high risk, and you all of a sudden just have the two cards, you're like, cool, because I didn't have any cards in my hand anyway.
Yeah. So you need to get playing that Tavern Brawl so you can get some packs and start experimenting.
Yeah. That's exciting. This is there's always expansions that aren't, any TCG of any digital or physical or whatever. There's always expansions that aren't your jam. They're other people's jams, but this one's legit. This one's good. And two things that I think are really neat. I mean, Colossals are just bangers, dude. I love Colossals, but this idea of it totally adds a whole new stress. Ooh, if I can do this, it's very much like gambling, rolling the dice, and you're like, ooh, but if I can, which is very exciting. And then you get trampled 20 times, and you're like, okay, screw this shattered thing. But somebody's gonna do it to you, and then you're gonna go, okay, if he can do it, I can do it.
Well, we didn't really talk much about GDC, and I feel like I need to dig in and do some research and figure out what some of the most talked about topics were. So maybe we'll do a recap of GDC news next week. I know Unity was bringing their AI-powered game dev tools where you could create a game just from a single prompt. So I'm sure they were showing that off, but I haven't seen any reactions to that. So I want to know what happened. Did they shelve it, or is it just behind closed doors?
It's been a pretty quiet GDC, man.
Yeah.
No news has flooded my emails or YouTube or anything like that. So I don't know, man. Maybe they're all also well, this is all still in development if, we can get the hardware, because software might be ready, but
Oh, seriously.
So that might be why it's been so quiet. There's a lot of cool things. one day in a couple of years, it's like COVID all over again. Like, I felt like we're seeing all these great games because it took 5 years for like them to come back out and go, oh, cool, yay. And then whoa, tariffs and data centers. And it's like, oh, we just got out of the pandemic. No, don't do this to us. Oh, sad panda.
Yeah, I would just like take a break from everything. Could you have a timeout? Like, is there a way we could have a global timeout where just no wars, no trade embargoes, no new AI models, just nothing happens for like 2 weeks? I mean, Europe does this already because they're just
8 years.
or 8 years.
Two terms.
I don't know if I want 8 years of no development.
I mean, I don't. No development, no drama.
No, I'm not talking just political. I'm saying, like, I don't want any new AI models. I don't want any new game consoles. I don't want anything to change just so I can catch my breath for 2 weeks.
Well, that'll happen probably for the next 2 years. So, yeah. So there you go. Due to all the other stuff. So,
to round us out, we finally have confirmed that there will be a sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah. What? No, I watched it actually. It was all right. It wasn't like great for me, but it was good. The story was really good, actually. All right, the story was really good. I'll leave it at that. It was really good,
and the music was great.
The music is fine.
I mean, it's not your cup of tea, but
it's good. Yeah,
it gets the kiddies going.
Like Katie and I were talking about it, and it gets the kiddies going. Yeah, it does. Yeah, like this is the new Frozen. This is the new Baby Shark. Like, you know, it's that kind of thing. It's a big deal. It's popular. Yeah. The story is good. So Katie and I were like, screw it. Let's, you get to listen to this dang music from all the kids all the time. So, like, story is good. There's a lot of drama in there that really helps build out the characters in the past, to the present, to the potential future. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Other things, did you watch the movie we talked about?
I did last night. It's fine. It's fine. You know what it reminded me of? Is there's only one robot for this movie. They open it up to a universe and future, blah 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 blah. It is.
So those in questioning what we're talking about the new movie on Netflix called War Machine, starring Alan Rickson.
Yeah. It takes about 30 minutes, which is not horrible. So you get a pretty decent intro, and then 30 minutes you're into the movie of what's really going on, the big bad. And then the next hour of them figuring out how to survive it, and then the last 30 minutes, somebody figures out and kills the big bad. It reminds me of this.
Wait, you're saying the good guys win? Oh, I was gonna watch it tonight. Way to ruin it!
No, spoiler. They gotta, keep it open for it's totally open for, like, if this is popular, we're gonna do another one. Because I won't ruin that part, which is not a big deal. It's Predator. That's exactly what it is. It's take Predator and put it in more current whatever with a robot
and make it metal.
Yeah. It's very much like Predator. Prey actually would be another good one. Prey's way better. That movie's great. But yeah, it's that trope of there is this weird thing that is indestructible and will not stop hunting you down, and you're supposed to be this elite whatever, for them, Rangers, and you're not at all.
Yeah. So I'm gonna watch it tonight. Art's coming over in an hour and a half, and we're having fajitas. So I got to go start cooking.
Well, I guess we should get off. I was going to say the phone. I guess we should get off the phone then, Eric.
Get off the phone and get on the phone.
Yeah, because that's what we do. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been yet another episode of the Geekoid Podcast, and we're just going to keep bringing it to you week after week because we love it, and we love you.
Yeah, why not? You know? Why not?
Right. And, you know, if you don't follow us already on all the socials,
what are you doing?
GEEQOID.com if you want to sign up for our newsletter, which
Geekoid.
will totally be dropping this coming Friday.
It's happening, dude. This Friday, we're at 5:38 right now. You better hurry up.
No, this episode is not going to come out till Monday, so you know the following Friday.
Yeah.
Because I just published the other episode earlier today. Come on,
you did, and I like the little anime people running around of the reshuffle. It was cute.
Yeah. I'm also working on some new.
Yeah, are you going to update the podcast cover and not have these God blessed question marks? I know what the one on the left is. I've only been looking at it since I lived in California. I don't know about the right one. You haven't showed me the right one. Maybe you did.
I only showed you just the head, but it's a full body thing, and it's not at all going to look like what it is now. Is
that why the cover still looks like question mark Geekoid?
I need to finish it. Okay, so to all of our listeners, if you see the actual cover for Geekoid Podcast, that will be changing. We will have a full new branding, just overhaul in the near future.
Can't you do all these AI and you creatively together collaborations for the YouTube? You just use those for each of the podcasts.
Trust me, I have tried to just say, hey, make this. But there's I'm getting close. There's a very specific, when you want something to a really finite level of granular control, I will get you maybe 20% of the way there, maybe 50%. But it's that last 50, 40, 30, 10% that is difficult to dial in, and that's where I gotta strap in and hop into Illustrator or Photoshop and just do the heavy lifting on my own and push the pixels.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Eric. Like it was 2 years ago.
Once upon a time, like I lived for that, and I would spend my free time doing it, and now I don't have free time, so I gotta figure out how to get it done. But no, I'm lots of big plans. I alluded to this in the episodes leading up to 50, that there's things I want to do with our brand, with these characters, and it's going to be a ton of fun once they're finally out there. And I mean, Jarrad, you and I will be talking offline because I want to have your input on what I'm doing here.
God, I hope so.
Yeah. I'm just going to secret covert rebrand. Welcome to the 3D Chicken Chess Emporium.
It's another T-shirt idea.
Oh God, we should. We need to start a tab.
Putting this in notes, yeah, or put him in Discord.
Yeah, we'll just have a channel. We'll have a channel in Discord that's just all our running T-shirt ideas. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like, subscribe, upvote, give us 5-star ratings on all the things, and we will reward you with Mastacholi in the future.
I'm pretty good at it, actually.
Jarrad's committing to it. All right, we will see you next week. From myself, Eric, and
Jarrad,
we are Geekoid.
In transmission.
End of transmission.